Good morning. I have to tell you what an honor it is to be where we are. It's an undisclosed location, so I can't tell you where we are, but I have my group with me. Woo! And I am so excited to be with you, Mo. Do we call you Rabbi Mo or Mo? Or?
You can call me Rabbi, I guess.
Yes. And I have to tell you, I've been trying to get, we've been in conversation for quite a long time, and finally persuaded him after.
Yeah, we were going back and forth and trying to figure everything out, and thank God it worked out that you guys could come.
And I'm so thankful. What a blessing it is, not only to see the Red Heifers, is why we're here, but also the fulfillment of future prophecy, the third temple. And you have been very involved in this. But would you please introduce yourself and explain about where we are, your title, and what we're going to see today?
Sure. So thank you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Israel. Welcome to the northern side of Israel. And first of all, my name is Mo, like Cindy introduced me. My full name is Moriel, which is an Israeli name. I grew up in New York, but my parents are Israeli. So that's where the name comes from. But most people couldn't really pronounce my name, so it's usually Mo. So it's okay, you guys could all call me Mo. And I work with an organization called Bonei Israel, which means building up Israel. Whoever wants to look up our website or follow us on social media, it's Bonei, is Boneh, and then Israel. And I also do a lot of video updates about everything that's going on, and soon I'm going to give you the sneak peek.
Now, are they out of Texas?
Yeah, so so here we can see the 5 red heifers that were brought in September.
5 of them are here.
Yep, in September of last year. Were brought from Texas to Israel. And yeah, we have a lot of stories. I don't know if we have time for everything, but
we'd love to hear it.
So we have some really interesting stories about how the heifers were brought here. It was a very long process and difficult process. I'll give you one quick story. So somebody asked if they could touch the heifers. So according to Jewish law, the heifers, it's very, very, very difficult for them to actually be qualified to be perfect, pure red heifers for the ceremony. One of the things that disqualifies them, if you just lean on the heifer, you just lean on it, it's disqualified.
Unbelievable.
So even if you just want to come and pet it, it could disqualify. It's very, very difficult to keep them.
And there goes the third temple because of us.
So good thing they're kind of scared of people.
Yeah.
That's good. And another thing is any defect that they have automatically disqualifies them. So even tagging in the ear automatically disqualifies. So in Texas, of course, in America, when a cow was born, they tag the ear. So our team who was there with also people out in Texas, Byron Stinson, if you guys have heard of him, he's the guy who was really helping us out there.
I think that's who I spoke to initially,
right?
I think
he connected us. So they were looking for the heifers, and they were praying, and literally after they finished praying, they walked out into the field and they saw a mama cow giving birth to a pure red heifer.
A miracle.
And they said, nobody touch it, nobody tag it, don't do anything. And then from there until Israel is a whole nother story, but it was a very difficult process, and thank God now we're all here to be able to see them.
Didn't you have to go through a process of licenses and putting them on the airplane?
They brought them on an airplane.
FedEx.
The veterinarians.
Was it FedEx?
I think so.
It was FedEx. They brought them over.
It's a funny story, They took apart a whole airplane just to
They
all
took apart a whole airplane. I saw where they put the whole thing in there. It was rocking and rolling on the way over here, right? No, I'm joking.
So it's a very interesting story. But I want to give you guys some sneak peeks about what's going on right now with the heifers. So first of all, as we said, we're in a disclosed location. 1, because of security reasons, and 2, this is temporary. We're planning on moving them before Passover in about less than a month. We're planning on moving them to ancient Shiloh,
which you guys will be visiting in the next couple days.
So when you guys are there, also let me know, because I live in Shiloh, so maybe I can come and say hi.
Right.
And I'll show you guys.
Daughter. I can't think of her name right now, but you know, the lady, not the owner, but the one that discovered it. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
So even in Shiloh, maybe I can come and show you guys exactly where
would love that.
They will be located. Yeah. And the plan is to build a visitor center for the heifers in Shiloh. And not just a visitor center, but it's also going to be a research and educational center. Because, for example, why is it so hard for them to stay pure? As you guys can see, they're pretty red. They look pure, right? But for example, the lighter skinned one, the
Right.
furthest one,
Right.
she has actually been disqualified, unfortunately. So now we're down to 4.
How's she
'Cause
feeling?
well, you could ask her, but she's kind of upset.
Yeah.
But she has some white hairs on her tail.
Oh no.
Right. But there is a possibility, first of all, for her to requalify.
Okay.
At the time of the ceremony, which according to their age, we'd have to wait another year
Okay.
because they have to be above the age of 2.
Okay.
So let's say in another year we want to hopefully do the ceremony. She might be able to be requalified.
Okay.
So if the hairs fall out and she
Right.
doesn't have any red hairs left, or if let's say we can feed her certain foods that can cause her to grow more red, to cause those white hairs to become red. So it's very interesting because just like human beings, when we're under stress or we age, then we have white hairs that come out. So it's the same thing with cows. So even if right now they're qualified, tomorrow they might not be, or in a
Right.
year from now they might not be. So what we're trying to do is we're not just waiting around to see, of course God is the one who's in charge,
Right.
but we have to take an active part and see what we can do for the process. So part of that is the research and development and experiments, and that's all going to be in Shiloh.
Right.
There's going to be
Okay.
the visitor center right next to the research center.
Beautiful. Now you're saying they're exactly a year old now, or how old
Yeah,
are
about
they?
a year and 2 months.
Okay, so then when they're 2 years old, that's when you say that
Yeah, it's
absolutely,
2
and that's when you have the
years.
ceremony?
Right, so
Okay.
it's 2 years, a little more than 2 years, so 2 years and a month or 2.
So when you do the ceremony, will you actually take them to Jerusalem and do it like I know you can't do it where it's supposed to be done, but you do it outside, like the southern
Right, so
gate
where
area?
where it's supposed to be done is on the Mount of Olives,
Correct.
not on the Temple
Oh
Mount.
yeah, up above.
Exactly.
Yes.
A lot of people confuse the Red Heifer ceremony and
Passover.
sacrifices
Yeah.
that are done on the altar. So every sacrifice is done on the altar, must be done on the altar on the Temple Mount.
Right.
And the Red Heifer ceremony is done outside of the Temple Mount
Right.
and not on the altar because it's a ceremony, it's not a sacrifice.
'Cause
So
wasn't it
that's
like
on the Mount of
directly,
Olives.
like where you go out
Exactly.
exactly where the temple is, up on that Mount of
Right.
Olives.
So it
correct?
says
Yeah.
so it says in the Torah that the ceremony has to take place across from the opening of the holies of holies.
Right.
So when you stand on the Temple Mount and you look across east, right? So it would be in this direction. Let's say if the Temple Mount would be behind us. Have you
Right.
guys been there yet?
Yeah, not yet. We're taking them.
So when
they'll
you
be
guys
there
are
in 2
there,
days.
look east
Mhm.
to the
Right.
to the Mount of Olives, and
Right.
right across is where it's supposed to
So
be done.
where we do the Garden of Gethsemane is actually above there, correct? Isn't that where it is? Because I was
Right.
taking that undisclosed location too a little while ago.
Right.
But it is. It's like that blank area where they actually have the ashes of the red heifers in the past, right?
Right.
So another thing that's kind of interesting is how many red heifers is something that's interesting. People think that it was 1,000 red heifers in the past, but it wasn't. You
Not
want to
at
tell them
all.
how many?
I think it was 9.
Only
And-
9 red heifers.
Right. It was only 9 red heifers since the first one was from the time of Moses, after the sin of the golden calf.
That's right.
That's when they received the commandment of the red heifers, and those ashes lasted for 1,000 years.
Wow.
And then during the time of the second temple, they had a few more, and since then it's been 2,000 years that
Right.
not only have we not been able to find the red heifers, it hasn't even been relevant
Right.
because the people of Israel were in
temple
the
was
diaspora,
destroyed. Right.
we're in exile, the temple was destroyed, and now that we're back home,
Yes.
and as a nation, we're actively working towards the next step, which is
Right.
building the temple. So we're able to look for them, we're able to find them, we're able to bring them to Israel, we're able to research and
Right.
do DNA testing and all these crazy things that
You
who would have
couldn't do
even
before.
dreamed of.
Now, we're going to be going to the Temple Institute on March 12th, so we'll be able to see detailed, they'll be able to learn even more.
Oh, beautiful.
But something I want to know personally is like, what is the process of the sacrifice? Like, so do you, what would you do? Like, so all of us could visualize, what is it?
So yeah, so the cows are slaughtered and then they are actually burned on top of a huge mound of wood.
Right? Okay, wood.
Which is why the ashes that Moses made was able to last for 1,000 years, because it's not just the ashes of the heifer, but also everything that's burnt together
Right.
with the heifer. So you can make a huge mountain of, even if we only have, all we need is one
Right, to mix with,
to
what,
mix,
they
and then you
with
mix
water?
it with water from
Okay.
the Gihon spring next
Correct.
to Jerusalem, and then it's sprinkled onto the people, which purifies them of the impurity of what's it called, the death impurity.
Right. And so that's everyone gets sprinkled, or I mean, I want everybody to know that watching is that
Right, so-
everybody that's doing a purification,
Exactly.
like
So-
a mikvah type thing, or what is?
Right.
or
So
even-
a mikvah, which is when you immerse yourself in
Right.
water, is it doesn't purify you of this kind of
Okay,
impurity.
okay.
The only thing that can purify the people of the impurity of death
so
is
it's death.
the heifers.
Okay.
Exactly. So today, whatever. I don't want to go
Yeah.
into that, but
No, you're fine.
so this process is for the impurity of death, and everybody who wants to go up to the temple and
Right.
bring offerings and what's called to come and see God has to be pure from this impurity
Okay.
and other impurities. But the other ones you can be purified by mikveh.
Wow.
So this one is also only from the red heifers. So anybody who would want to come up, Gentiles and Jews alike, can come up to the temple, which is supposed to be,
Right.
like it said in the prophecies, a house of prayer to all of the nations.
Right.
And that's the goal that we're working towards.
Which is going to be soon.
Which
The
is gonna be
temple-
soon.
I'll tell you, when we first started going to the Temple Institute, Rabbi Richmond and Rabbi Glick, you know them?
Of course.
They, Rabbi Glick was a young guy. You're talking a long time ago.
Right.
And we're both gingers from like King David, so we bonded immediately. But he initially was in that little Temple Institute. You're probably too young. It was a little building, and they were talking about it then, about the red heifers and how what an improbability. And now we're standing where there's 5 here. That's mind blowing to think that this
Yeah,
prophecy
for
could be
sure.
fulfilled in this time. You know?
Yeah. I mean, if we go back just a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
80 years ago, which is not so much,
Right.
just our parents and our grandparents, and unfortunately, in the middle of the Holocaust, you would go up to someone and say, when they're about to enter the gas chambers,
Oh,
and say,
no.
yeah, it's a kind of a hard topic to bring up,
No,
but
it's
it puts
true.
everything in perspective. And you say, listen, in 3 years, we're gonna build the state of Israel. We're gonna come back from the exile for 2,000 years. We've been waiting, and they've been killing us. And in 3 years, and they're walking in line into the gas chambers.
Wow.
What would they tell you? Say,
Yeah. I see.
You're
That was-
crazy.
yeah.
So it's the same thing here. So every step that we move forward, we have to look at it in perspective of history, and that God is the one who's bringing us to do all these things.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
we're the ones who are lucky enough to be here in this generation and see these things and be able to actively help, the process of redemption.
Well, how did you initially get started in this? Because tell me what you did. You did something else originally. What was it you did?
So I'm actually studying to be a tour guide.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is very hard. It's like a brain surgeon
Yeah.
here in Israel.
yeah, it's pretty tough. So I had another 6 months left until the end of the course, and I said I'm gonna start getting ready. So when I finish the course, I'll have already
Right.
my own everything set up.
Right.
So I heard this story about someone who's bringing the red heifers, and I called him. I said I want to hear the story, and then he said, listen, I don't know what's going on with them. We just brought them to Israel. It's a balagan, like we say in Hebrew. It's a whole
Balagan.
yeah. How do you say balagan? It's a big mess. I don't know what's going on. Talk to me in another month. Okay, I kind of forgot about it, and all of a sudden after a month he called me and he said, listen, we're building a visitor center in Shiloh, and you live in Shiloh, and this, and I want you to be part of the process. And I was like, whoa, I was not planning on
Big
that at
deal.
all. And he's like, I'm looking for someone who can help me, especially because I speak English. I grew up in New York, so he wants someone who can be in touch with the people from outside of Israel.
The Cowboys in Texas.
Exactly,
Okay.
and he kind of convinced me,
Oh,
and now I'm happy to be here
what
to
an
have this
honor you
opportunity.
have. Wow, what a blessing, truly.
Yeah.
Well, what else do you have to say that maybe you want to leave us with, or anybody have any questions? Because every question, there's 100 other people. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you can't touch the cows?
No.
How do you milk the cows?
Okay, so it's a good question. Anything that is for their own good
Yeah.
is allowed.
Okay.
So to milk them, even checking them.
Because you have to milk them.
Right. So the first time I saw the pictures and the videos of checking them, I was shocked. They're tackling them, they're lifting them up, looking all over.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought you can't do that. But because it's for them, or
see.
for the process of the ceremony, then it's okay.
And that's on your website, right?
Yeah,
That
so-
video is on the website. I
Yeah.
saw it, yeah.
So we have a lot of videos that are like an hour and a half interviews, Maranatha Church, it's called Maranatha something, that we were at.
But even the Cowboys,
And
or
the
the
Cowboys,
ranchers, I should
ranchers.
say.
Yeah, there's a lot of information
Right.
on our website. So maybe one last thing that I'll say, and then we can
Yeah.
have some more questions. So first of all, if you guys want to learn more, come visit our website. We have Facebook and YouTube and all those things. Follow us, like the videos and everything, and her videos. And another way that that everybody here can kind of be part of the process. Of course, is praying and helping spread the word and spread the knowledge and education. But this project, it costs a few $1 million just to get this project going, which is why, first of all, thank you everyone for the donations, whoever gave and whatever you gave. And until Passover, what we're looking at is building the visitor center, which has its own costs. But especially, we have all these costs regarding the DNA tests and veterinarians and lab experiments and all these things that we're researching, like I explained before. And I would call it our destination goal until Passover is about $100,000. And within the big picture, it's kind of small.
Right.
But I think also if we look at it as like a group, if everybody here was able to do in their own community. Where is everyone from, by the way?
All over.
All over.
Texas.
Texas?
Dallas.
Dallas. Okay, so
Colorado.
first of all, okay, hold on with
Watch
Texas.
your back.
So I'll say a word about Texas in a minute. But first of all, I think that if everybody here was able to, what's called like a not GoFundMe, but like a
Yeah, you have one.
one of those GoFundMe or charities that everybody puts their own destination of $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is in their community. How do we say in Hebrew? Chik-chak. It's very quick. 5,000, 10,000 here, we can reach 100,000 in no time. So that's one thing I hope you guys can consider and see if you guys can do that for us. And the second thing is that we come to the States pretty often and we hold speaking events.
Right.
And on the week of March 19th, we're going to be in Texas. I don't remember my exact schedule, but I think we're going to be in Houston, we're going to be in Dallas, in Fort Worth area. We have some events there. So what we do is we come and we speak and we tell all the stories and all the information and open it to questions and it's a very nice events. So if anybody here knows that they can, organize some kind of event like that at their organization or church, or even if it's just a few friends who want to get together and, we're always happy to come and spread the word.
That is wonderful.
And again, I just want to thank you guys all for coming.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
Thank you guys for coming,
You were
and
excellent.
I appreciate it.
What a blessing. You guys are seeing prophecy being
Oh my
fulfilled by here. You
Can we
realize
get
that-
your information from Cindy?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So
Put
you
it
guys
on
can get
thing,
my
yeah.
number for sure.
Yeah.
The website is Boneh with an H,
Yeah.
Israel, Facebook, YouTube, whatever you guys use. And you can always reach out to me. I'm the guy who also does the social media, so
Yeah.
wherever you reach out to me, I'll be happy to answer.
What is your name again?
My name is my full name is Moriel, which means, by the way, Mori El. You know how to
No.
translate that? Mori HaMoreh Sheli, my teacher, is God.
Wow.
So, it's a nice name,
That's
but Mo
beautiful.
for short. So.
Yeah, no. Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
My
What an
pleasure.
honor.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you, Ed.